So if you're anything like me, you've probably seen several YouTube icebergs before and videos explaining them, but with a lot of them, you might know a lot of what's on the bottom tier, and it's just not interesting. Well, this is the deepest YouTube iceberg that there is. And it's going to start off with kind of the same things like the blank room soup and I Feel Fantastic and like creepypasta videos that everyone knows about, but by the end we'll be getting to things like Cat R Word TV. So without any further ado, let's go. We're starting out in Tier 1 in the sky above the iceberg. Each of these tiers has a name of what the person who knows at least 40% of that tier would be considered, with like it being a sort of rank, I guess. Tier 1 is casual, the average users of YouTube who may hear about the most well-known stuff about YouTube from time to time and won't usually lurk beyond their comfort zone. Me at the Zoo. Me at the Zoo is the first video ever uploaded to YouTube by YouTube's creator Javed. It's 20 seconds of him at the zoo making a dick joke about an elephant. Yeah, it was uploaded in 2005. In 2018, the YouTube channel got hacked and a live stream was posted. And in 2020, the description of the video was hacked, saying that there would be a sequel if it got enough likes, with eventually a link being posted in the description that just led to Never Gonna Give You Up. Then, a few years later, Javed started shouting out random music artists, which is believed to be Javed himself and not just a hacker. And when YouTube started saying that they were going to remove dislikes, Javed posted his opinion in the description, saying that this was a really dumb idea. PewDiePie vs. T-Series, also known as the Great Subscriber War, was an event that started in 2018 when people realized that the corporate entity T-Series was gaining subscribers at a rapid rate and would soon surpass PewDiePie, the most subscribed creator at the time. People were very much opposed to this, as PewDiePie was an actual creator and T-Series was a corporate entity, and large portions of the YouTube community started showing their support for PewDiePie. Though people also showed support for T-Series either out of hate for PewDiePie or out of a love for Indian pride, though this isn't the reason for all of them. PewDiePie made a diss track called Bitch Lasagna and made several statements against T-Series, claiming things like they were making subscriber bots, which were true. Eventually, T-Series hit 100 million subscribers and PewDiePie released another diss track called Congratulations, which was pretty much where it ended. The war was not without its share of controversies, as a vocal minority of PewDiePie's fans acted racist towards Indians and vandalized several places in public, and including World War II memorials. And worst of all, a terrorist shot up multiple locations in Christchurch, after which PewDiePie ended the Great Subscriber War, wanting to silence this vocal minority. He also made several donations to Child Rights in You, a non-profit Indian organization, to make up for the actions of his abhorrent fans. Justin Y/YouTube commenters. Justin Y's YouTube channel with 795,000 subscribers and no videos. This is possible because Justin Y comments on so many YouTube videos, as many as they can possibly find from their recommended. And the comments aren't like stolen jokes from other people like you'd expect from a spam bot. They're actually original jokes actually related to the video in some way, which is just the result of someone having a lot of time on their hands and a lot of knowledge of the channels. Justin Y stopped commenting as frequently in 2019, but still does comment on videos from time to time. As for the other commenters part of this entry on the iceberg, I'm not entirely sure what that's referring to, but I'm pretty sure it's just referring to people who are similar to Justin Y. And people who are like Justin Y's of certain communities, like, for example, there's one YouTube user that I've seen comment on like a lot of Undertale videos and a lot of Earthbound videos, but I don't remember their name. It could also be referring to verified channel spam bots, but I'm pretty sure that's an entry for later down the iceberg, so we'll cover that later. Clickbait/deceptive advertising. This is referring to the general concept of thumbnails and/or titles to YouTube videos that don't accurately portray the content and are just made to get people to cheaply click on them and generate money. This problem was once so prevalent that YouTube had to implement the feature where videos generate more money based on how long people view them for to stop it, so that if a lot of people click on a video expecting something and then click away, the person will be rewarded for it. The clickbait videos usually have a lot of things in common, such as red circles, large red arrows, overreactive faces, generally meaningless words, arrows that point at absolutely nothing, overly sexualized images, and of course the Holy Grail, not clickbait in the title and parentheses. COPPA controversy. COPPA is short for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It was an act made by the FCC to ensure that children would not have any information gathered by them online. The FCC has been trying to get this law has been trying to make YouTube conform to this law for a long time, but YouTube kept defending itself by saying that no one under the age of 13 is allowed to have a YouTube account, which is complete and utter garbage because people can just lie about their age or use a guest account. But the FCC is mostly run by a bunch of old guys, so they had no idea how this new technology works, and they let YouTube go. That is until 2019, when 20 children's advocacy groups went out against YouTube, and as a result, the FCC cracked down on YouTube by creating a COPPA law on YouTube. What this would do was it would make all kids' channels less profitable. It would prevent them from having end screens, comment sections, being added to playlists, or having targeted advertisements. Sounds good on paper, right? Well, there was one problem with this, which was the fact that what YouTube deems as kids' videos was extremely vaguely worded, to the point where they said that if you had any characters that appealed to children, your video could be marked as for kids. Everyone started raging against this new law and saying that it was going to ruin YouTube. And while it did certainly have a lot of bad effects, and a lot of older YouTube videos ended up becoming unprofitable or unfairly marked as YouTube Kids videos, for the most part, new videos that came out after the law were safe by simply marking their videos as not for kids. Despacito. Despacito is a Spanish music video made by Luis Fonsi and featuring Daddy Yankee in 2017. The music video became the most viewed video on the website, and as of now has over 7.9 billion views, which is more views than there are people on Earth. In 2021, it was overtaken by Baby Shark, but is still the second most viewed video on the platform. And speaking of which, Baby Shark Dance, or as its full name is, Baby Shark Dance, hashtag Baby Shark most viewed video, animal songs, Pinkfong songs for children, by Pinkfong Baby Shark Kids Songs and Stories. This is the actual most viewed video on YouTube, having over 10 billion views, and is a remix of the children's nursery rhyme Baby Shark, in which kids just name different family members of sharks. And I guess a lot of kids watched it, so it's the most viewed video on YouTube. And it also grew very popular in 2018, similar to Despacito, but it didn't reach its status of most viewed video until 2021. The YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is a term which refers to the system that decides what videos the YouTube is going to promote and make people watch. The most important things that the YouTube algorithm takes into account are how much interaction the video gets in the first 24 hours, how many people click on the video as opposed to other videos, and how long people watch the video for. Dream SMP. Dream is a very popular YouTuber, and him and a bunch of his other YouTuber friends have a series where they play on a Minecraft SMP, which is short for Survival Multiplayer Server. What separates the Dream SMP from other Minecraft SMP playthroughs, I don't know what you'd call them, is the fact that they have a storyline, a sort of half improv, half scripted storyline. I could go in depth into it, but you clicked on the deepest YouTube iceberg explained. I'm sure you'd rather hear me get this over with so we can go to the more interesting YouTube channels like I don't know, Local 58, just off the top of my head, and talk about like something like that before we get to talk about something like that instead of going in depth for like dozens of minutes about the Dream SMP storyline. So yeah. Monetization. Monetization refers to how many advertisements a video can have on it. A video can have ads at the beginning and end, as well as mid-roll ads if it's over 10 minutes long, if the YouTube algorithm determines that the video is appropriate for advertisers, depending on how much offensive content there is in it, ranging from swear words to sexual content to violent content. The video will be varying levels of monetized, ranging from being completely monetized and allowed to have advertisements to fully demonetized and unable to make any money from anything other than sponsorships. Oh, copyright. I should have mentioned copyright. Copyright's also important for monetization. Whatever, I'll leave it in. A YouTube channel can only be monetized once it has at least 1,000 subscribers and over 1,000 hours worth of watch time. YouTube channels that are capable of monetizing their videos are also capable of seeing how much money other YouTube videos that have been monetized make. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh Yeah Yeah is a quote-unquote music video created by Maximilian Mus, in 2019, which has since been deleted due to a variety of controversies about Maximilian Mus. We'll get to those controversies later down the iceberg, but for now we're just going to talk about Oh Yeah Yeah. Oh Yeah Yeah is a very low-quality music video where the video itself is just footage of Fortnite characters dancing, and the audio is just someone shouting "Oh yeah yeah" repeatedly, along with some occasional other lines which are equally garbage, like "I slapped your mama, she voted for Obama, you have a pet llama." Oh yeah, after Oh yeah yeah was created, Maximilius told his viewers in another video to change their profile pictures to his, which was the character J.C. Denton from the game Deus Ex, and to then comment the lyrics to Oh Yeah Yeah along a bunch of as many YouTube videos as they could, which resulted in Oh Yeah Yeah briefly taking over YouTube's comment sections. Team Trees. Team Trees was an organization created by Mr. Beast in 2019, who is a very popular YouTuber that I'm sure you've heard of. He the goal of Team Trees was basically a charity where for every dollar donated, he would plant one tree, and his goal was to have 20 million trees planted by 2020, and he succeeded in doing his goal. He also had a lot of other YouTubers to help promote Team Trees by using its hashtag and having dedicated sections of their videos to it. Later in 2021, he started a similar organization, Team Seas, which was basically the same thing, but instead of every dollar being equal to one tree being planted, every dollar was equal to 1 pound of plastic being removed from the ocean. Unus Annus. Unus Annus was a YouTube channel started by Markiplier and Crank Gameplays. The YouTube channel quickly reached over 1 million subscribers after it was created, and despite the channel having like an aesthetic associated with like death and hypnotic spirals, the channel's pretty normal videos of Mark and Ethan just doing whatever, whether that be reacting to memes on a subreddit, mummifying themselves, or learning about chickens. But the big gimmick of the channel was, well, is stated in its name, Unus Annus, which is Latin for 1 year. When the YouTube channel was first created, they started a timer that started at 1 year. And this timer could be seen counting down in real time on a website they had and at the beginning and end of every video. When the timer had less than 24 hours, they began a live stream with the timer in the background. And when the timer hit 0 seconds remaining, they deleted the entire channel and every video on it. And they've since taken down multiple archives of the channel that aren't just clips. And it's essentially this sort of philosophical idea of like teaching people to like cherish the time they have, because if you didn't watch the Unus Annus videos in the year that Unus Annus existed, you can't watch them ever. Either that or it's some weird philosophy Markiplier is using as an excuse to live out his masochistic desires in his videos. That could also be the reason. YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids is an app separate from YouTube and also a website separate from YouTube that basically functions as YouTube, but only videos marked as for kids. So it's basically just the ad that parents can let their kids on when they're doing something else and don't want to pay attention to their kids. And their kids can just scroll for hours and hours at a time. You can also set up certain filters on it so that will filter even more content depending on how young the people watching are. But it's mostly just designed for people that are under the age of 13. Every video that's been hit with COPPA is on the platform. Ryan's World. Ryan's World, formerly known as Ryan Toy Reviews, is a YouTube channel which centers around a kid named Ryan Kaji. He was 3 when the channel first began and is now 10. The YouTube channel just consists of him playing with toys, yet despite how simplistic it is, children eat the content up, and he is like a multi-millionaire with like over $31 million and has since gotten spin-off TV shows and video games, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the channel is not without its fair share of controversies. There are 3 main ones that I could find. The first of which being that obviously people accuse his parents of mistreating him and him not wanting to do the videos. They, as well as Ryan himself, claim that he wanted to start doing the videos, but keep in mind this was when he was 3 years old, and he is still like a 10-year-old that probably wants to do more than just play games. The second also he's a big old, he's like a very big property now. He's not really an actual kid. The people that are trying to make money from him don't value him as an actual human. They just value him as a monetary property. The second controversy is the fact that it encourages consumerism within kids and advertises to kids toys, which, kids aren't smart enough to understand, and it's kind of manipulative in that regard. And then the last controversy is about the mom having committed like some minor crimes like shoplifting in the past, which, I don't think that's as important as the other ones, but yeah. All Tomorrows, The Future of Humanity. This is a video made by ArtShiftX, which is a summarization of an ebook written by, C.M. Kozeman. The book basically centers around, so the setup of the book is that humanity colonizes Mars, and the Martians and humans go to war with one another, but eventually they work things out in peace. And then they sent and breed a new race of people called the Star People, which are sent out to multiple different planets and start colonizing them. But then an alien race called the Q comes in, and the Q are on this horrific genocidal they're on this big religious genocidal conquest to remake the universe, and so they cause the extinction of most of the Star People. But as they leave, they leave behind a lot of these post-human species, and it's here that the book becomes basically speculative evolution towards what these different types of human species could entail. So some examples are the worms, who are humans that have been bred into worm-like creatures that dig through the ground, but ultimately end up evolving into these snake people that live in underground tunnel cities. There's the swimmers that are trapped underwater and don't have a way to make fire or electricity, and end up breeding animals that perform those actions for them and become the tool breeders. There's animals they're humans that get turned into parasites, and these parasites learn to live in symbiosis with their human counterparts and become stronger. And these are all just a few of the examples of them. One of my favorites is the colonials, they're humans that have been reduced to these blankets of flesh, designed to consume the Q's waste as punishment for how much the humans that they specifically descended from disrupted the Q, but end up evolving into these beings called the modular people, where each individual colonial is like one cell in the modular being. Eventually, all these different races of humans are able to unite together and form this galactic alliance. However, there's one human race that goes against the others, the Ruin Haunters, who live on planets with more Starman ruins than the other planets. And the Ruin Haunters, they're not quite, their brains aren't ready to be able to catch up. Basically, the technology on their planets is more advanced than their brains are ready to handle, so they almost destroy themselves. But then eventually they managed to export their brains into these machines called the gravitals, and then the gravitals go around and blow up all the other human races, and except for one called the bug facers, which they began experimenting on and twisting just like the Q did. However, one other race managed to escape both the Q and the gravitals because they hid in asteroids and turned into these spark-propelled, limb elongated humanoid creatures called the Astro. I think they were the Astromorphs. Um, and they enter a war with the Gravitals and eventually manage to overthrow the Gravitals. And the two kind of live in symbiosis, though machines are forever treated as a lesser people. And the book ends with it going over a few brief stories of what this ultimate empire accomplishes, before finally ending with a message that it never really was that all of human history that's happened and that is to come is not about what the mighty leaders of the race decide that they want to do, and that all horrific actions in human history are have been the result of delusions about trying to achieve some future that can never happen, hence the Q and the gravitals. And that the most important thing about life is just the day-to-day lives of the average people. The video inspired, at least on YouTube, a resurgence in, well, I shouldn't say resurgence because I guess it was never super popular to begin with, but it inspired popularity in terms of speculative evolution and gave that kind of a fandom. It also inspired a lot of memes about it, and things like ranking the Ultimara species based on how hot they are, stuff like that. Copyright abuse. Copyright abuse just generally refers to the fact that YouTube's copyright system and way of determining whether someone is stealing content or not is fairly easy to abuse. It generally refers to, I'm pretty sure this is probably referring to it, the people who own content abusing the system to strike down smaller creators, but it can go both ways with smaller creators also abusing it to steal from like more well-known things. So an example, the first one would be if it's primarily with music. It would be like if you play like a very small couple seconds of a song, and then the music company, UGN, I think, Universal Music Group, is like, no, 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 you cannot play that, and then copyright strikes your entire video for it. And then an example of the other way would be someone making a compilation of Family Guy episodes where they like reverse the screen and add an image of a guy at the bottom of the screen to make it easier to like trick YouTube's copyright detection bots. But it's I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be too in between here, but yeah, it is mostly the bigger companies that's generally the bigger problem. Drama channels. Drama channels, or T channels as they're often referred to, are channels which, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. They report on drama. There are two types of drama channels, the ones that just report on them, and then the ones that offer their opinion. But in general, they're mostly just there to inform people about various internet dramas that are going on. And yeah, that's basically it. And they're also going to be where I'm going to be getting a lot of information for some of these entries on the iceberg. 3 a.m. YouTubers. So around 4 or 5 years ago, a YouTube channel called Mo Sargi started doing videos where he was investigating things at 3 a.m., like abandoned schools, because in sort of like Western Christian mythos, I guess you could say, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is considered the devil's hour, and like spookier stuff are more likely to happen then. Then kid-friendly YouTube channels that were seeking to make as much of a profit from children as possible, namely the YouTube channel I'm Jay Station, who we will be getting into much more later on. Um, they started doing just really stupid garbage content that would attract children, like calling SpongeBob or at 3 a.m., calling Sonic.exe at 3 a.m., and would generally involve them crappily editing a picture of like whatever character they're calling onto a phone screen, maybe getting chased around by a plush of it, and children eat it up. And a couple years later, well, actually last year, the YouTube channel Arcade Craniacs started becoming popular, and they do these same 3AM videos, but they do it to a more satirical standpoint, where they're simultaneously making it while also satirizing the genre and making content that's entertaining for adults. And then the owner of the channel got outed as a groomer, but it was fun before then. The weird side of YouTube. The weird side of YouTube, or deep into YouTube as it's often referred to as, is what this iceberg is all about. It's just a term that refers to the weird content that your average users of YouTube don't find, and we're going to cover a lot of it. And in fact, it's most of what we're going to cover in this iceberg. Of course, these first couple layers, not exactly that, because, we have to get through the boring stuff first. But once we're done with these first couple tiers or so, we'll be moving on to exactly that. It kind of makes this a bit of a meta entry to the iceberg when you think about it, hence the picture I'm using right now. Reaction channels. Reaction channels refers to YouTubers whose primary form of content is simply watching and reacting to other YouTube videos. Better channels in this genre will edit out the unnecessary parts of the reactions, or in some way transform the content, or maybe even just only show the reaction and not show the video they're reacting to, and instead just show what point in what timestamp of the video they're at. These types of videos have sparked a lot of controversy, where people accuse them of not adding enough to the content and not really being transformative, whereas people on the other side of the argument will say, so you're just telling us to react harder. Lo-fi hip-hop radio, beats to relax/study to, along with its sister video, most popular sister video, Lo-fi hip-hop radio, beats to sleep/chill to, are live streams on the Lo-Fi Girl YouTube channel. These videos display an animation of a girl studying and sleeping respectively, and are just live streams of lo-fi music. Now, what is lo-fi music, you may ask? To that I would respond, I don't understand anything about music and can't even begin to describe differences in music or music genres. But that being said, I will now try my best. It's like other music that's been like sort of distorted and a little bit like chopped and screwed up a little bit, and yeah, I can't describe music genres very well. I'll play a little bit of it so you have a better idea. Shitpost status. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube titled Shitpost status. Shitpost status originates from Portuguese-speaking areas of the internet, where it used to be used on WhatsApp as they're basically just shitposts, which are For those that don't know, high energy short memes that were shared on WhatsApp statuses, but eventually moved over to YouTube, and from there moved over to English speaking areas, and now they're a popular form of shitpost. They're not as they've become a little bit less popular over the years, but they're still relatively popular. And also, shortly after they became popular, their thumbnails changed, and where now a lot of them just show lewd images. YouTube Rewind 2018 dislike ratio. So every year, YouTube, since 2012, every year, YouTube has done a YouTube Rewind towards the end of the year, which like celebrates all the content creators from that year and all like the trends of it. But while these used to be good, it started going downhill in 2017, and many people consider 2018's to be the worst for a variety of reasons, including it showing Will Smith, everyone's favorite YouTuber, at the beginning of the video, showing a lot of Twitch streamers that don't really use YouTube, an overabundance of Fortnite, having Baby Shark, and at one point in the video them saying, "There's one thing this video needs, K-pop," as well as YouTube patting itself on the back for like how diverse its community is, which just because it was made by YouTube comes off as self-indulgent, and not including PewDiePie in it because of controversies he was in at the time, even though he's like the most subscribed actual content creator at the time. For all these reasons, it became the most disliked video on YouTube and now has over 20 million dislikes with only 3.1 million likes. And people have joked about YouTube removing dislikes just because of this one video. I just realized that I said self-indulgent in the previous section instead of self-praising or self-promoting. Sorry about that. But anyway, verified YouTuber self-promotion comments. So a YouTube channel will become verified so that you can distinguish it from copies of it once it reaches 1,000 subscribers. Well, I mean, you can opt for it to get verified if you want to. So this is a system that has been abused due to the. Okay, so basically, it's a system that's been abused, as what some people will do is they'll re-upload popular TikToks, and because of how much YouTube promotes shorts, they'll get a ton of views and as a ton of subscribers, and they'll eventually reach 100,000. Then they apply for verification, and they become verified. Then they will sell their channel to someone else, and someone else will then unlist all their YouTube videos and they'll unlist all the YouTube videos, and I think possibly rename the channel. It depends on the circumstance. And then they'll go around YouTube just having multiple people use the same account to comment everywhere, basically making them a worse Justin Y. And this, because we have something primitive in our monkey brains that go, "Oh, look, verified comment, I want to like that," and this will draw more attention. They naturally have more attention drawn to their comments and channels, which allows them to then make money by either promoting other people's videos or music and getting paid by those people, or by shilling out some cryptocurrency or NFT. Try not to laugh. Try not to laugh consists of two different styles of video. The first being compilations of funny videos and memes and stuff that encourage the viewer not to laugh while watching them. And the second being YouTubers reacting to the first. What you see is what you get. Dream speedrun cheating controversy. So in late 2020, the YouTuber Dream, who is a Minecraft speedrunner, got accused of modding his game to cheat at the speedrun by increasing the chances of being able to get ender pearls by bartering with piglins. These allegations he would later confirm were true in about 6 months, and then tried to claim that it was on accident because he had used the mods for something else and forgot to remove them, and then blamed a bunch of other people, including his moderators, for the situation, and basically just tried to take blame off himself. Country restrictions. This just refers to the fact that certain videos can be blocked in some countries but not in others. The reasoning simply has to do with differences in the laws of different countries. Like, for example, one country might be more strict about its copyright laws than another. So say in America, the video will be perfectly fine and allowed to be on YouTube. Well, in another country with a more strict law, like I don't know, the Philippines, it will get taken down and copywritten, and you'll have to use like a VPN to change your location if you want to view it. Rickrolling. Rickrolling is a concept universal across the internet and is one of the oldest memes still relevant to this day. Rickrolling is basically where you send someone a link saying that it's to something else, something they presumably want to see, but instead it leads to the music video of Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. There are different variations of the meme, and as well as of Never Gonna Give You Up itself for people who have memorized the URL. And there's other ways of rickrolling people, like tricking them into saying the lyrics, something along those lines. But the main way is by sending someone a link to the official music video. YouTube April Fool's jokes. YouTube has had several April Fool's jokes to celebrate the holiday, and yeah, this entry is referring to those. These jokes first began in 2008, and they've done them almost any year since. Their 2008 joke was where they changed every video on the YouTube homepage, so that regardless of what thumbnail and title and channel were actually shown, it would link you to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up instead. Then they skipped 2009, and then in 2010 they added a new quality setting called Text P, which could only be accessed for that day and that day only, and it would basically set videos into it would replace the normal it would set videos to ASCII, which is where like a video is comprised out of like text, with the text with certain parts of the text changing to try and create an image instead of using like actual recordings of the images. Then in 2011, YouTube made all videos have, or no, not sorry. YouTube added a filter to all videos that would make the videos black and white and grainy so that they would appear like a movie from the early 1900s. And the audio would be completely muted and replaced with the song Rhapsody Rag, which is often played during movies from that time period. And the closed captions would be like text from movies from that time period. And in addition to this, YouTube also created some of their own videos, which were parodies of early viral videos that looked like they were, from the early 1900s, including things like Flugelhorn Feline as their parody of Keyboard Cat. In 2012, YouTube claimed that they would be releasing a collection of video. They would be releasing every YouTube video ever in DVD collection called the YouTube Collection, and would just be dumping big giant packages of YouTube videos sorted by category to people's houses, and the YouTube logo would actually have a button that would link you to an area where you could buy the YouTube Collection, but it was obviously a fake page. And I would say that the anticipated delivery date is June 16th, 2045. In 2013, YouTube worked with The Onion to create a video where they claimed that YouTube was actually just a contest to see who could make the best video this whole time. And now that they had let YouTube run for like 8 years, they were going to compile a team of critics, YouTube celebrities, and commenters to judge every single video uploaded up to that date, and we're then going to delete the website and leave the videos only for that group of people, and then the people would spend the next decade judging which judging the videos and trying to find which one was the best. And in April 1st of 2023, they would release the best. YouTube would come back online and release the best video and nothing else. This was also accompanied by a live stream for the day that where two people that were submission coordinators would read off the quote-unquote nominees, which were actually just the titles and descriptions of random videos. They also worked with a lot of creators of early viral videos to sort of give interviews about how they were trying to create the best things ever in the and sort of get into the joke in their video, in their April Fool's video. In 2014, YouTube announced that all viral videos were made by YouTube and that they were accepting ideas for more viral videos. In 2015, in reference to a trend on Twitch where people would always respond to people asking for the names of certain songs with Sandstorm by Darude, YouTube made it so that Sandstorm by Darude would always pop up whenever someone searched for any song. And in addition to this, they also added a button on all YouTube videos that when clicked would play the song Sandstorm by Darude. For 2016, YouTube promoted something called Snoopavision, which was a program, I don't know what you call it. It was where they had several different videos which were all old which were all like videos that were viral at the time, but were in 360 with the video playing on the screen of a movie theater, and in the back of the theater, Snoop Dogg and other various different YouTubers, depending on what video it was, commentating on it. YouTube then skipped April Fool's Day for 2017 and 2018 for whatever reason, but came back in 2019 where they added an ad for Aquaman 2 to the top of the homepage, but clicking on it would bring you to Shazam, to the trailer for Shazam instead. Only for it to then be cancelled once again in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 because of COVID. But if COVID ends, we might see it come back. If COVID at least finally dies down, we might see them come back, and hopefully they'll continue that April Fool's joke from 2013 and 2023. YouTube Easter eggs. This refers to multiple Easter eggs that YouTube has had on its website. Some of these being, if you search Doge meme, the search results will be displayed in a Doge meme-esque format. If you search use the Force Luke, the search results will be displayed like wobbling around. But most of these Easter eggs have unfortunately been deleted for whatever reason. Of the ones that remain, most of them are either some uninteresting tech tip, like how you can access YouTube and navigate YouTube using only your keyboard, which I don't really think classifies Easter eggs, or alternatively, are in reference to a specific YouTube video or channel, which are all on the iceberg, so I'm not going to cover them now here. Obviously, I'll cover them when we get to those specific channels or videos. The exception to these are the Awesome and Robots Easter egg. Awesome is in reference to if you type the word awesome on a YouTube video. Don't do this if you're epileptic, by the way. The run time bar of the video, at least the part of it that's red, will turn a flashing rainbow color, and if you type awesome again, you can turn it off. The robots Easter egg refers to YouTube's robots text file, which is a file that a lot of websites have, and it does some complicated tech thing that I don't understand, but I think it prevents algorithms from reading unnecessary information and wasting time and resources. But anyway, to access YouTube's, you delete everything after the youtube.com/ and replace it with robots.txt, and then search it, and it will go to the txt file, and the first thing it says is created in the distant future in the year 2000 after the robotic uprising of the mid-90s, which wiped out all humans. PewDiePie N-word controversy. In 2017, PewDiePie was streaming PUBG, and while on a bridge, he was failing to aim at someone and was missing the shots, and it made him really upset, and he ended up accidentally saying the N-word. He obviously didn't mean it in a racially charged way, but still wasn't okay to say, and it caused a very big controversy where he started losing a bunch of where he started losing a bunch of his fans, and a bunch of people that were against him started being, having the grounds to be more against him now, and it resulted in him not being in YouTube Rewind for 2017 and 2018, as mentioned previously. Family-friendly YouTubers swearing. Well, a lot of YouTubers attempt to make their videos family-friendly and clean and safe for all audiences by, not saying swear words in it. People are human, and at the end of the day, they're gonna mess up once or twice. Though not quite as bad as PewDiePie did in the previous one. But yeah, this is mostly probably on the iceberg for the fact that people make compilations of family-friendly YouTubers swearing and generally clickbaity, content farmy videos, with the most well-known of these being the top 5 Fortnite YouTubers who have sworn on accident by the YouTube channel GameWorks. James Charles. This one is not safe for work, so trigger warning here. James Charles is a YouTuber, a beauty YouTuber specifically, who has gotten into 2 major controversies, the first of which being in 2019, when he was accused by a straight Instagram model along with a couple other straight men of being pressured by James Charles to make out with them, despite them, being straight. This controversy would be elevated by the YouTuber Taddy, who made a video attempting to cancel him. In the video, she went over all of the people's stories. This controversy resulted in James Charles losing 3 million subscribers, which part of that is due to the controversy. A large part of it is also due to the fact that people just got a dopamine rush from seeing the numbers of subscribers go down, which resulted in YouTube making a change to its system and now displaying subscriber numbers rounded up or down instead of showing the exact numbers to prevent said dopamine rushes, which has resulted in no real major subscriber losses since then. James Charles eventually responded to the controversy by making a post and video in which he said that Dottie was basically just attempting to cancel him, and this was all just a pathetic cancellation attempt, to which people mostly agreed, and he was able to recover. However, he was not able to recover from the second controversy, which occurred in 2021, in which he attempted to groom a minor, a 16-year-old specifically, on Instagram, despite being 21. He made a quote-unquote apology video, which was fake and disingenuous, and unlike the first controversy, people were unable to forgive him, and he's lost most of his sources of monetization from YouTube and has basically fizzled out into obscurity. This one's pretty self-explanatory as far as I can tell, because from all the information the title gives me, I'm pretty sure this is just about YouTube, the way YouTube's algorithm keeps track of every click you make and every video you watch and how long you watch them for and all that to, recommend you stuff you want and advertisements you want, which is, a pretty common thing amongst companies and pretty well-known knowledge. But I might be wrong about what this is referring to. So if you think it might be referring to something else, then let me know. Comment bots. This refers to the bots that can be found in comment sections spamming links to various websites and cryptocurrency scams and various things to basically steal your money or put a virus on your computer, something along those lines, which YouTube has taken some measures to prevent, namely allowing a feature where you can censor all links in the comment section of the video, but there's still a big problem, as there are on most of the internet. There are 2 specific types of comment bots that I think are worth pointing out. One of which being the verified comment bots, which I talked about previously in the Justin Y/YouTube commenters portion of this video. and as a lot of those verified channels are bots. However, that's not always true for all of them. And then the other type are the adult bots, which are later down on the iceberg, and I don't think this is referring to them, this entry on the iceberg specifically, because it's not listed as NSFW. So I will talk about the adult bots when we get there. Cringe compilations. They're exactly what they say. Compilations of videos of people being cringy, or something that would be defined as cringy to the audience of the video, which is generally just people that the video's audience hate. The cringe compilations were initially really popular in 2016. They kind of died in popularity after that, but recently, thanks to as TikTok's become more popular, it's become easier to make cringe compilations, and so they become more popular, though not to the same extent that they were in 2016. Ina. Ina is an animated series created by YouTuber Joel G, which currently has 3 episodes: Auction Day, Extinction Party, and Temptation Stairway, though 4th episode, Dream Barbecue, is going to come out soon. The series is most well known for its surreal animation style, which oftentimes takes the appearance of walking through a first-person video game, and combines multiple aesthetics, including weirdcore, old web, vaporwave, cubism, glitchwave, dark glitchwave, and dreamcore. The series also has surreal background music produced mainly by a variety of artists, but mainly Oliver Buckland, Metaroom, and Graham Cartna. The series' titular character, Ina, is notable for their design, which is based off of a painting by Pablo Picasso called The Girl in the Mirror. And as such, their design features 2 halves, one yellow and a blue half, with the yellow half being more smooth and realistic looking, and the blue half being more polygonal. They have 2 different voices, one very masculine and one very feminine, with the masculine voice being used most often when they're happy, and the feminine voice being used most often when they're sad, though these do occasionally switch and also become distorted under certain circumstances. There's also some instances throughout the series where Ina glitches out and their body becomes this weird demonic hybrid of bricks. The secondary character of the series, Mooney, is a floating orb with like a moon on it. And there are several other. Can you like calm down? You know? Man, calm down. Computer is overheating. But there are several other characters in the series, all of which are also very weirdly designed, and some of them also being based off of paintings, particularly by Pablo Picasso. Now, you may be wondering, with all that I just described about like the setup and characters and visuals of the show, you may be wondering, what is the plot of it? Well, there really isn't one. Each of the episodes do very loosely follow a plot. Auction Day is about them going to an auction. Extinction Party is about her trying to get through a house to give a gift to Mooney. And Temptation Stairway is about them trying to race Mooney to this being called the Great Ruinous to get a wish granted. But outside of that plot, there really isn't, outside like the beginning and points of each of the plots of the episodes, there really isn't much of a plot, just kind of random things happening for the sake of random things happening. Just, which isn't, I'm not saying it's bad by any means. It's still very good and interesting, despite this. And despite the fact that there have only been 3 episodes of the series, it has quite a large fan base, with many people even considering it kind of its own aesthetic entirely. This is me coming back in and editing it because I forgot to mention that a lot of the characters in the series don't speak English and speak other languages, and these languages are translated through captions at the bottom of the screen, but these translations are purposely wrong, with their actual speeches being a lot more like dramatic and fearful, I guess. Sorry, just forgot to mention that the first time. Only Dream can comment on this video. This refers to a video posted by Mr. Beast Shorts, in which Mr. Beast claims to be holding one of Dream's friends hostage, and that for the friend to be let go, Dream has to comment on the video, and as the title suggests, only Dream can comment on the video, and his comment is the only comment. Which the behind this is the fact that the reason why Dreams Comment is the only one that's on the video is because you're able to filter comments on a video and make it so that comments cannot be published until they're manually reviewed by you. And surprisingly, unsurprisingly, it's actually very easy to pick out a comment by a channel with more than 10 million subscribers out of all the other comments. And so, because of this, he was able to just make it so that only Dreams comment was visible easily. However, for whatever reason, Dreams comment has been deleted, I guess, because now the video has 0 comments. So, don't know what that's about. Surprise egg and unboxing channels. This entry refers to YouTube channels that specialize in types of videos in which they pull toys out of mystery boxes or out of eggs, similar to Kinder eggs, and it's become extremely they're extremely profitable videos that are like pumped out for children because of the fact that the lack of knowledge of what's inside of them and the mystery of it keeps the kids that watch it on a dopamine high because they're constantly wondering like, ooh, what's inside of that? And I mean, at least that's my guess. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're for profiting off the kids. Susan Wojcicki is ruining YouTube. Susan Wojcicki is the CEO of YouTube and has been since 2014. The company was struggling when in terms of its advertising and not being able to make much money, and Susan Wojcicki being an advertiser was what resulted in her becoming the CEO. And though she has made some good changes on the platform, she is very hated by content creators for a variety of reasons. The main ones include focusing on celebrities more and giving them like priority over YouTubers, and breaking their verification policies to give celebrities verification marks before YouTubers, breaking its rules to censor and delete YouTube videos that have content which is against its policy, such as being too disgusting or being too gory on some videos, but then not enforcing these rules on other videos when seemingly based on what creators it doesn't like. Also enforcing these changes, these rules onto videos that were created prior to the rules having been created, and just generally trying to water down its platform and make it more advertiser friendly and safe. Sponsorships. I don't know why this is as far down on the first tier as it is. I mean, it is still on the first tier, but it's really far down on it, like the second to last entry, so don't know why that is, but yeah, for the 6 of you that don't know, a sponsorship is when a YouTuber is paid money by a company to say the company is good, product good, buy product. And finally, the last entry on the first tier of the YouTube iceberg, Logan Paul's self-game and forest video controversy. Had to censor the name there a little, and if you couldn't tell, this one's very, yeah, we'll deal with self-game, and so approach with caution and discretion and all that. So this was a video uploaded by infamous YouTuber Logan Paul, where he, while in a trip to Japan, went to the Aokigahara forest, which definitely butchering that name, which is nicknamed the self-game forest because of the amount of people who went there to, And Logan Paul, being the genius that he is, decided it would be a great idea to go camp there because it's such a spooky, haunted location. And unsurprisingly, they found the body of someone who, which resulted in, now you think if he was like an intelligent person, he would not make the video, to not, be disrespectful, but instead he decided to film the body and even somewhat make fun of it, and make a big old, basically make a freak show out of it, and make a spectacle out of it. And as a result of this, Oh, and then at the end of the video, he tries to spin it as this whole video is like some message, um, to try and, make it positive. But yeah, that didn't change people's reaction. People were extremely pissed at him. And as a result, he got in extreme trouble, and he lost a lot of his brand deal ties, and his brother Jake Paul lost a contract with Disney, and although he claims that they respectfully ended the terms of agreement. And then Logan Paul created an apology video, which has become infamous, namely for its opening lines, "I have made severe and continuous lapse in judgment," and all the fake crying throughout it. And yeah, this didn't help. This didn't help lower his. This didn't help him regain his reputation at all. And if anything, just made people even more upset at him. But despite that, he still has been able to have still a pretty successful career, just not to the same extent as he did. Also, don't know how hyperrevolution of the video began at the end of 2019. I don't know why. How did I forget about the date? The video has also been deleted off of YouTube, with no one being able to re-upload it, and because its content's pretty bad and it's pretty controversial. But re-uploads do exist on sites like archive.org. So that was the entire first tier of the deepest YouTube iceberg. Um, if I missed anything, then let me know in the comments, and that was it. This tier probably wasn't as interesting as most of the other tiers are going to be because it was a lot of general stuff, but there were some interesting stuff there like Ina and Ultimaros. But hopefully the next tiers will be a lot more interesting, and from looking ahead, I know they will.